Since 2007, when examples of these two types flew together in the then incarnation of the Army Air Corps Blue Eagles display team. But they've since been rendered very much historic, and it's a great pleasure to see them back on the circuit in this guise. And it's the first display season for one of the two. In fact, this is the first time they've mounted this two-ship routine in public. We've got the Westland Lynx AH1 and the Westland Gazelle HT.2. Two of the most prolific of British military helicopter designs, both of them produced in fact as a result of an Anglo-French collaboration between Westland at Yeovil and Aerospatiale in France. The Lynx, the one in the lead in the Army Air Corps camouflage, was conceived by Westland as a successor to the earlier Scout and Wasp, and it became part of that collaboration between Westland and Aerospatiale. There are two main versions of the Lynx. The naval one for the Royal Navy and the French Navy initially had a wheeled undercarriage, and the battlefield one, which we see here for the Army Air Corps, had a skid landing gear. Later on there was the one exception, which was the Lynx Mark 9 for the Army Air Corps, which used a wheeled undercarriage. It was the naval one that was the first production variant to fly, capable of anti-submarine, anti-surface vessel, fire support, link liaison, and many other missions. As I say, it's the Army one that we have in the display today, leading the duo in from the left. The Army Lynx was able to carry up to 12 troops, an internal cargo as heavy as 2,000 pounds or a 3,000 pound underslung load. Lynx and Army Air Corps Gazelles would have operated together as an effort to counter it, the Lynx being the armed element, the Gazelles providing support and, crucially, observation. And the Lynx has served outstandingly worldwide with British forces. Both the Army and Navy used them to great effect during Operation Desert Storm in the Gulf in 1991. Their models there tend to be almost forgotten in comparison with the likes of the RAF Tornadoes and Jaguars. But to give you an example, a Mark 1 Lynx of 654 Squadron Army Air Corps destroyed 2 armoured personnel carriers of the Iraqi Army and 4 of its T-55 tanks on a single day in February 1991. Stalwarts of operations in Northern Ireland, in the Balkans, of the 2003 Iraq War, and then in 2006 from Afghanistan. They were upgraded as well from Mark 1 to Mark 7 form, and this is a Lynx AH1 also got a Mark III X RAF Gazelle. And in future, Project Lynx, which operates the Lynx, is going to be returning to flight a Mark 8 X Royal Navy version. At the controls today, we have two very... He flew both the Gazelle and the Lynx in his operational Army Air Corps service, which he left in 2020. And at the controls of the Gazelle, well, it's one of the best-known names of all on the display circuit, John Beattie, ex-Royal Navy pilot, ex-Royal Navy Historic Flight Commanding Officer, and warbird pilot of great renown. We used to see the Lynx in Army Air Corps circuits, and it's none of that is possible now on the civilian circuit, but we are able to see a very nice turn of agility nonetheless from this helicopter. And it remains such a great performer, the Lynx. It was a modified Lynx, a company demonstrator that in 1986 set the absolute world helicopter airspeed